Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. First Amendment of the Constitution, right to free speech, has been under attack on social media for at least 6 years now, going on more. Now, in the early stages of the COVID awareness that many of us were bringing to humanity, I being one of those in the early stages of it, I started in December of 2019. And then in January of 2021, on a daily basis, I started revealing about the COVID, all right, the bioweapon attack, right, that was created in China laboratories, right, under the help of Anthony Fauci. Some of us have heard, some of us have been, talking about this for many, many years. Many scientists, bioweapon scientists and so forth, came out about that. For myself, I, in the SEAL teams for 24 years and in the CIA for 11 years, we looked at bioweapons, right? We looked at them, and that was one of the things that we thought was going to be the next major attack. And sure enough, on 2019, December 2019, those attacks started in China and started spreading around the world, right? So we have, learned a lot since then. Now, when I started to reveal, I also started to reveal of ways that you could protect yourself. One of those was taking grapefruit rind, boiling it, and making your own hydroxychloroquine. That was heavily suppressed throughout social media. So that was the first indication that I saw that the First Amendment, constitutional right to free speech, was being decimated. Who was doing it, right? So we look at Big Pharma. They seem to have still a lot of control. And a lot of people have talked about that. I've talked about it on shows. There's lots of discussion about that. But I think, wink, wink, we can say pretty much that that is a real thing, right? But for those social media sites, this one that I'm broadcasting from, they still seem to be under their thumb, right? So we have to be very careful of the things that we share that can help humanity. And I just saw Dr. Judy Mikovits was on a show, Scott McKay on Rumble, and she was talking about how they will do another attack, right? They being deep state, right? Other bad actors and so forth that did the last attack. But the only thing that protects us is that we share information, that we share ways to protect ourselves, and that we gather together and push back, that we don't do that masking, that we don't self-isolate in the things that they want us to do, right? To try and manipulate and control us. So it is, going to be, I think in the future, very, very, problematic for the deep state, because we're waking up and we're sharing information and we're sharing methods that, keep us safe and well. So one of those that I've been sharing for a long time is LifeWave. And I had David Schmidt, who's the founder of LifeWave, came out and talked about how the patches, the X39, could, push back and help us against the bioweapon attack that's went into our arms, right? Not my arms and not a lot of your arms, but in many people's arms. A very great number of humanity succumbed to the MK Ultra attack on consciousness and forced people to pretty much get something that was not good for them, right? So there are ways that we can overcome that. And if we, work together and share information, then we can, not only survive, but thrive. Right. So on my website, LifeWave, michaeljaco.com, there is new technology that's come out from David Schmidt. It's the X2O. It's a water machine. And it is the next generation in wellness. So his patches, his cellar jives, and then the LifeWave X2O water machine goes to the next level. And so if you look at my website, you will see that. Now, as of now, you have to be on a waiting list to get the X2O water machine. Now, I have the water machine, and so do a lot of other people, but and 3,000 of them have actually been, distributed at this point. So the water machine, what does it do? How does it help you? What's so special about it? It's basically infusing your body with light. So when God said, "Let there be light," and there was light in the world, we are beings of light. Now, when we're compromised, when we're sick, when we have health issues, that's usually a lack of light. So this water machine actually infuses us with light and helps us overcome lots of different problems, makes us not only well, but takes us to another level. For me, it's helped me overcome a lot of different things that were troubling me. These things that have helped me and other people, may not work for you. We have to say that, of course, wink, wink, but there are many things that, the water machine has been helping, including those people that have been in hospice. Some people that have been drinking water from the water machine have left hospice. Right. So, and what is the problem with a lot of people is the lack of light, right, in their bodies. So, infusing the body with light, overcomes a lot of different things. So hydrated, but still tired, unfocused, or run down. This machine basically gives cellular hydration, energy and metabolic support, smooth and unique taste, removes contaminants from the body. It's wellness from within and antioxidant activity. So this is water reimagined. All right, so you can go through this, gives you excellent insights. You want to begin with X39, the patches, elevate with cellar jives, and amplify with LifeWave X2O. So we recommend that you're on the X39 and then upgrade to the cellar jives, which is basically a morning and evening, which the morning one has buckhorn extract, which is known to help the stem cells activate, which the X39 does as well. So combined, you're activating your stem cells. Then, of course, uniqueness. It's a patented light infusion technology, infuses light into the water you drink. It's the only one of its kind. There's never been anything like it. There's nothing like it out there, right? So it's fantastic, backed by science, built for wellness, and supports your wellness. And results are in seconds. So when I first drank the water, I noticed like my throat chakra seemed like light was coming from my throat chakra. My brain seemed like it lit up. I felt light. It's been fantastic. And most people get incredible results right away, right? So these are some of the things that you can also experience, with the water machine. And let's go into what David is saying about the water machine. So the water machine is the result of 7 years worth of research and millions of dollars that David has put into, researching and developing the LifeWave X2O machine. So here he is talking about it.
I've been doing for the past 2 years when I've been talking about X2O. I've really been going over the development behind it and what the discovery was that led to this. And for those people that hadn't heard it before, I had made this discovery, this observation on light emission from lobsters, and that the wavelengths of light coming off specific regions in lobsters, namely the blood for one, the shell for another, that there was a mathematical code that linked them all together. And you could find this exact same code in the very first sentence of the book of Genesis. So I talked about that quite a bit. I've shown results from our clinical studies, but I realized that up until now, I haven't really explained the science behind this on how it's possible to trap light inside of water. So your team tonight, this is going to be the first time I've ever talked about this. So I'm really excited about that.
That's amazing. Yeah, you've got the floor. Let's go for it.
All right, let's do it. So hopefully I can share screen here. All right. Okay. Okay, so of course we're talking about X2O, and this is the first and the only water technology that will infuse water with light. Now, the benefit to this is that because the light gets trapped inside the water, when you drink the water, the light is released inside the body. So what are going to be the benefits to this, and how exactly do we do this? How is it possible? So first, we'll go over what the legal compliant claims are. Our studies, when we do them, we show a whole variety of different benefits, and then we have to put those studies in front of our legal. So some of the benefits that you can expect from this system is that first, it's going to improve hydration. So you can think of this like a structured water product. Normally, we take different types of minerals, add it to water, and it will cause the water to form a structure. So this reduces the surface tension in the water, and that makes the water enter the inside of the cell much more efficiently. So when we're talking about improving hydration, that's what we're really talking about. We see improvements in energy production, improvements in metabolism. You'll notice right away that the water is extremely smooth. Most people can drink an entire glass of this water very quickly because it is so smooth. It displays antioxidant activity, amongst other things. And of course, we have a filtration system, a dual stage filtration system for removing contaminants. We've also designed this system to work with X39 and cellar Jis. So a good way to use this is to put your cellar Jis into the X2O water when you start your day, along with an X39 patch on the back of your neck.
Now, what I do, and the first thing that I do when I get up in the morning, is I drink a full glass, about 15 ounces of the X2O water. And like David's saying, it's very smooth. I drink it right down. And, you know, it rehydrates me. I wait a little bit. Then I do a cup of coffee. I wait a little bit longer. You know, I go through my emails and catch up on what's going on in the world on the internet. And then I do the cellar Jis AM. And I do it with the X2O water. And like David's saying, it's very smooth. And with the cellar Jis, it mixes very easily. With regular water, it doesn't mix as easily. You can mix it, of course, but it takes a little bit more. But with the X2O water, it mixes very quickly, and you taste it. It's very, very delicious, very smooth. I take my supplements with it as well, because not only does it, go into the system very quickly because of the X2O water, but some people need some kind of food or something when they take their supplements. So that's what the cellar Jis does. But for me, the cellar Jis, along with my supplements, they get absorbed very quickly. I would not take medications with it. that it's not that it's not recommended. You can try it, of course, but I would say that they're going to absorb into the body much faster. So you have to be your own judge of that. But as far as like supplements, I love to take it with my supplements because my supplements get absorbed extremely well, right?
All of these three products work together really well, and they have great benefits. So the basic way that we could describe the system, there's more to it than this, but the first and the most important part is that we have this light infusion technology, which I'll be talking about tonight, about how exactly that works. And then we have two different stages of filtration, which are on the side of the unit. One of these stages is going to put hydrogen into the water. However, the benefits that you get from drinking this water are not exclusively from hydrogen. The primary benefits are from the light infusion. So in fact, when we did our first 5 clinical studies, it was only on the light infused water. We hadn't infused it with hydrogen at that point. Okay, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. So light has been around a pretty long time. Light's been around from the very beginning of creation, but what exactly is light? What's interesting is that for most of recorded history, however long you believe history is, the greatest minds historically have not been able to clearly state what light is. Many people have had guesses, but we haven't been able to define it. And what's remarkable is that our health completely depends on light. Our body is designed to process light, and we even have photons, biophotons of light inside of our body, yet we've had a difficult time defining exactly what it is. So that's an important question. So then how do we exactly go about infusing light into water? That doesn't seem like it would be something that would be possible. So is there a scientific way to explain this? And there is. So to understand the complexity of this problem, we're going to take a very brief tour on the history of the science of light. And then you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about here. So first, in 1672, we have Isaac Newton, one of the greatest scientists of all time. His thinking at that point in time was that light was a stream of particles. And he did these experiments with prisms, and he determined that light was a particle. And because Newton was so prominent, you have to remember, he gave us a gravitational constant. Because Newton was so highly regarded, his theory or hypothesis that light was composed of particles was accepted back in that day. But yet, right around the same time, other scientists were saying, well, wait a minute now. Light seems to behave like a wave. Light will reflect, light will bend. This seems to act more like a wave than a particle. So there's these two opposing scientific views. Which is it? Then in 1801, you have Thomas Young. Now, this is a very famous experiment called the double slit experiment. And it's so famous, people still talk about it today because it has some very powerful implications. But quite simply, you run photons of light through these two slits. And you can even turn the emitter down where the emitter is only emitting one photon at a time. And what you get are these bands of light. Some are dark and some are not as intense. And this would indicate that light is a wave. So in other words, you can imagine some waves adding to one another and some waves colliding together and becoming destructive. And that would lead to either an intense light or a less intense light. So this experiment seemed to prove that light is in fact a wave.
So this is the beauty of David's information. David is definitely the Tesla of our time. And, he went to, some laboratories, Edison's laboratory when he was a little boy. And after that, he told his father that he wanted to be a scientist like Edison. And I think, Tesla, very, very advanced technology. This is where David Schmidt is. So this is the beauty of, having David as the inventor of LifeWave. And I've had him on half a dozen or more shows. And we've talked about a lot of these technologies over time. He's brilliant. I've been to his laboratory. It is Tesla level information, guys. So definitely one of those things that, like I was saying in the beginning, they want to restrict, but this information is coming out. Now, I've unfortunately had a lot of my information over time been restricted. My channel's taken down. Even to this day, I get massive attacks when I share this information. People come in and try and inhibit the information, try and attack me and the people that I'm sharing this information with. So it is obviously trying to be restricted still. But this is amazing. This is coming out. This will continue to come out. And this is a magnificent time to be sharing, to be alive, and to see this information come out on this level.
Then, of course, in the 1860s, you have James Clerk Maxwell, and he's known for Maxwell's equations. These are 4 equations that link electricity and magnetism. And one of the important things about the discovery that Maxwell made was that electromagnetism was self-propagating. What that meant was that you had an electric part, a magnetic part, and electromagnetic wave would oscillate between these two. Now, he wanted to know at what speed does an electromagnetic wave propagate, and he calculated it to be the speed of light. So he reasoned that light must be an electromagnetic wave. So this seemed to settle any argument about what light is. Light is an electromagnetic wave. Then you have Albert Einstein. Now, we, of course, usually recognize Einstein for the theory of relativity, but in fact, he won his Nobel Prize for his discovery of the photoelectric effect. And what was important about this is that photoelectric effect is that if you take a piece of metal and you shine a light on it, you'll get electrons coming off. But what was found was that the emission of electrons from the metal would depend on the wavelength or the frequency of light. In other words, you could shine a red light on the metal and not get any electron emission, but then you could shine a blue light on it, and now we got electron emission. So that means that light is behaving more like a particle. So this was later renamed photons. So you can see the inherent problem here. We have experiments that are showing that light is a wave. And then you have experiments that are showing that light is a particle. So which is it? I thought we just proved that light was a wave. So is it a particle or a wave? And you can imagine now when people are skeptical about things, this is something that you can point to. Something as simple as light that we live with every day. The greatest minds, the greatest scientific minds in history didn't know exactly what it is. Then you have Richard Feynman, Nobel Prize winner, brilliant guy, between around 1940 and 1953, along with these other scientists, they come up with quantum electrodynamics. And quantum electrodynamics, what's really interesting about it is that it's the most precisely measured and tested area of physics. In other words, the calculations, the formulas that are used in QED have been shown to have an accuracy out to 12 decimal places. So this is not speculative. And in QED, light is thought of as a quantum object, meaning it is neither a particle or a wave. Photons can behave like a wave, or photons can behave like a particle, but they're actually neither. If you have photons being emitted from a source like the sun, in quantum electrodynamics, it would be said that that photon can take any path possible. And the photon is measured by its disturbance or excitation of space. But it usually will travel in a straight line in accordance with classical physics. But we want to think of photons as not being like these little balls, but rather these objects that show up in space. And that's important because it has everything to do with the X2O system. So that's a little bit of background, but you're probably wondering, what does any of this have to do with X2O? So now let's go ahead. There we go. Let's go ahead and talk about this now. We're going to fast forward to 2008 to Dr. Luc Montaigne. And actually, when I invented X39, I was contacted by his office, which was an enormous honor just to be in dialogue with his office. And Dr. Montaigne won the Nobel Prize for co-discovering HIV, but he quickly, after this period of time, migrated over towards homeopathy. And he had a belief that there could be, in fact, a scientific explanation for how homeopathy worked. And he was heavily criticized for this, which is interesting given that he won the Nobel Prize. But he believed that quantum electrodynamics could explain how coherent domains could be formed in water. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with homeopathy, let's use an example. Let's say, because we're getting into summer, that some of you have allergies, and let's say that you're allergic to pollen coming off of trees. You could take the pollen and you could put it into water, shake it. It's actually called succession, where you create a shock wave through the water. Then you dilute the water and you shake it again, dilute it, shake it again, until finally there's no pollen that's left in the water. All that's left is a coherent vibration. And then you stabilize it with something like alcohol or glycerin. And of course, many people in the scientific community have thought that homeopathy is quackery. But of course, that doesn't really matter because homeopathy happens to work. So Dr. Montaigne wanted to say, well, how can we go about modernizing the concept of homeopathy? And his belief was, okay, we can look at water and we could say maybe there are these coherent resonant domains that are being formed in water. How would that work exactly? Well, water is a dipole, right? So we know water is H2O, just pure water, not talking about any minerals in there. But water is effectively a dipole. So dipoles are used in radio transmission. Dipoles are used to propagate or receive electromagnetic waves. And liquid water is an open system that can interact with electromagnetic fields. So we can see when you take a photon of light and it interacts with an object or material like water, now it's going to come out of, let's say, the quantum domain and into our reality, and it's going to manifest itself as an electromagnetic wave or an electromagnetic field. So under very specific conditions, water dipoles can create these coherent domains. What does that look like? Coherent domain consists of molecules of water that oscillate in phase with a trapped electromagnetic field. What does that mean exactly? When you have molecules of water that get stimulated by wavelengths of light, we can create, under the right conditions, we can create oscillations that go from one dipole to another. And when that happens, you get a resonant cavity. And this resonant cavity becomes self-sustaining. So some of you have asked the question, well, how long does X2O remain stable after it dispenses from the machine? Well, that's going to depend. Are you exposing it to microwaves? Are you exposing it to ambient light? Are you changing the temperature? It will remain stable depending on what conditions it is stored under. But the important thing here is that we have, I would very clearly say this is a hypothesis because we haven't proved it. What we've proved through our clinical studies is that when you drink this light treated water, it has very profound, novel biological effects. So we can measure when within 15 seconds of people drinking the water, that there are measurable changes that occur that are very favorable inside the human body. So our working hypothesis is that what we're doing is we're creating, because of the X2O process, we're creating these self-sustaining resonant cavities that light or electromagnetic oscillations are being trapped and contained. That may be more information than you wanted to know, but there it is regardless. So this is the method that was patented that I came up with for trapping light in water. So important question now is what happens when you drink the water? Well, first, we're not going to go through this in great detail because I've done this previously and I want to get to your questions. But we've had multiple bioelectrical tests. So we could have something like EEG, heart rate variability. We have people connected to this. We take a baseline reading, have them drink a glass of water, and the average response time is 15 seconds. You can start to see changes in readings. I think on the first study, the worst that we did was 2 minutes. That was 1 person out of 20. 100% of the people have had measurable changes. In our studies now, it's about 300 people. We have never, not once, been able to see a person that would not respond to X2O. We have people that drink the water and say, well, I don't feel anything. But when you connect people onto equipment, you measure their blood, their urine, 100% of the time, we see a measurable change. Now, some of the things I've been really excited about, because it's so unusual to see this with a water product. We expect improvements in hydration. We can expect improvements in energy and energy flow. What was really interesting about X2O, because we're trapping 6 different wavelengths of light, we're able to turn on energy production and protein synthesis in the cells. So we see an improvement in metabolism of specific amino acids. We see improvements in metabolism for improving cognition. Glycine, which of course is associated with longevity. It's a backbone for GHK and glutathione. Valine, of course, valine is necessary for muscle protein synthesis, for collagen, proline for collagen formation, alanine, of course, we know forms carnosine and AHK, and leucine is the key amino acid that's going to turn on mTOR or muscle protein synthesis. And we even see activation of the KP pathway, which is used to manufacture NAD. And of course, a lot of people are interested in NAD these days because it's known to act.
So I've been a bodybuilder. Every bodybuilding contest that I've competed in, I've trophied in. Just more recently, 5 years ago, after a long hiatus of over 17 years, I did a bodybuilding contest and won. So there's definitely, you can build muscle to an advanced age, like I guess I am, in my 60s. But what I have noticed after drinking, of course, using the LifeWave patches, and now with the X2O water, is that normally I go through a cycle, and this is what all bodybuilders do. You build muscle, you put on weight, you build muscle, and you do that during an off season, which is usually the winter time. And what I've noticed is I've started to lean down. And when you lean down, you start to increase your repetitions. Now you do less reps when you're building muscle in the off season. And then as you move into the spring, which we're in now, you increase your reps and you start to lessen your intake of certain foods and so forth, and you begin to lean down. Now, normally when you do this, you start to have to back off on how much weight you do. This is the first time in my entire life that I've been working out with weights, and I've been working out with weights for 50 plus years, that I've actually been able to increase the amount of weight that I have been using as I'm increasing my repetitions. I've never experienced this before. And the only thing that's different is I'm using the X2O and building muscle while I'm leaning down. This is unheard of. So very interesting.
Two of the sirtuin genes for producing anti-aging effects. So that's in fact something that we did measure in an in vitro study. So we saw this in vivo in human beings through metabolism, and also in vitro work that we're getting increases in NAD. So if this is something that you're interested in, I would recommend, instead of buying an expensive NAD supplement, that you just get common niacin. Make sure you have enough vitamin B3 niacin in your diet, and you have the precursor to make NAD. And of course, when we do subjective questionnaires in our clinical study, we have people that report, hey, I drank a glass of X2O, I have more energy. People report improved mental clarity within minutes of drinking X2O. We've even measured improvements in circulation, and the benefits last generally 3 to 5 hours after drinking first glass. So in summary, with X2O, we're going to see improved hydration, and this is absolutely critical for optimum energy production and anti-aging. We're going to get antioxidant benefits from the infused hydrogen. The results are extraordinarily fast. What I recommend is for people to drink the water on an empty stomach. You can sit for a moment and feel the water working its way through your body. We can measure significant improvements in bioelectrical activity in the body. Improvements in metabolism, nutrient absorption. You can take a regular glass of water, put Cellar morning in it, and then you can take a glass of X2O. You'll actually see that the ingredients in Cellar dissolve more easily into X2O than regular tap water. And of course, that's one of the reasons why X2O is part of our product line, is because it complements all of our patches and our nutrition system. So with that.
All right, so as you guys can see, it's a massive improvement in wellness on many different levels that David has invented. We're gonna find out a lot more stuff in the future of things that this is doing. Now, again, if you want to experience this, you can go to my website, LifeWave Michael Jaco.com, and that's going to have all the information on the water machine that you can look into and find out even more information on it. If you go hover over the water machine, you see the power of synergy. So that gives you the X39 and Cellar, and it gives you deeper information about all three. Now, if you do want to join and you haven't joined my team yet, we're approaching. Thank you, everyone that's joined my team. We're almost at 10,000 total. I have multiple people that help me, advance and grow my team. So if you're interested in joining my team, there's great information here. You can join as a brand partner. You can join as little as $25 and then purchase products, or you can go for the core, advanced plus, and premium, or you can go as a retail customer, preferred customer, or preferred customer plus. These are all talked about, as you can see here, the futures now. And you can also look at each one of the cell patches, gives you deeper insights on them. And if you need, more information, there's info@michaelkjaco.com. You can click that and fill out a form, and it will give you more information. And someone on my team will contact you and get you the information that you need. Right. So great new experience that's coming for all of us. Looking forward to sharing this product with a lot of you and getting your feedback. In 1 minute, as I come off of this show, I go into a show. It's called Miracle Monday. We've been doing it for several years now. You can go into my Facebook or any of my social media, and you're going to see that information. So look forward to having you guys join us in my team. And we have a great team. We're growing very quickly. We're helping people advance, use the patches, share the patches, and if you're up to it, building a business. And so looking forward to seeing more of you guys in the future. And thank you very much. And we'll see you guys next time.